Yo, what's up, good people? The Phantom Geek Zone. We're back again with another hot episode for y'all. As usual, I'm Izzy.
I'm Riyaal.
And today we're going to be continuing with our DCEU recap series. We're going to be breaking down the Suicide Squad.
Yep. Very. You need some clarity there.
Yes. Very clear. Usually I'll come through with the fun facts and whatever. And unfortunately, this time around, it would have been nice to have the information as far as why the Suicide Squad, in terms of all the names they could have gone with. Of course, in the movie they refer to them as
Task Force X.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, why don't we call it that? And I suppose probably branding, but even so, they could have said Suicide Squad and then whatever little subtitle or part 2 or that sort of thing. So I'm very curious about that. But yeah, just a quick little tangent on there. Look, let's just get right to it,
Yeah.
right? We've got, I'm trying to think now, man, especially with, and I think, yeah, definitely DCEU. Marvel hasn't really done this. DCEU does so many, we've spoken about it in the other reviews where,
Yeah.
they'll clean up house, try to sharpen a few things and re-release, it's director's cuts, it's this and that. But this one is arguably, there's of course Justice League as well, we could argue, but this is like the first official scrub re-release, so to speak,
Okay. Yeah.
because they did a sequel, but obviously they're trying to make up for what they did with the first
Yeah.
one. Even how the story unfolds, it kind of speaks to that. So let's start off on that note. In terms of comparing it to the prior Suicide Squad, did they do a good job in terms of upping the stakes, doing a good job, all the stuff we basically complained about in the previous one.
Yeah, so I think it's definitely better than the first one.
Yeah.
Also, I think I didn't even realize. I thought it was just a full-on retcon.
Okay.
Just a full-on remake.
Yeah.
But obviously on the rewatch, I realized it was a sequel.
The sequel, yeah.
Because they had mentioned the previous.
Yes.
And then you've got similar characters in there as well.
Have you seen it before?
Yeah, I have seen it before.
Okay, so
but
it's just a matter of forgetting.
Yeah, forgetting.
Okay.
So as a sequel, it's better. Definitely better. Definitely better structured movie. Stakes felt a bit more tangible in this one.
Yeah.
For sure. But also it was very Disneyfied in a sense as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so it didn't have your darker tone of movie as we do with Snyder movies.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is James Gunn now.
Yes.
Guardians of the Galaxy director for the uninitiated. Definitely a lot more colors, a lot more, I would say, jokes put in there.
Yeah.
And obviously, this is an ensemble cast as well. Some really big heavy hitters in there. Figuratively. What I mean is literally just in terms of size.
Sure.
It's your John Cena's, your Idris Elba's, Viola Davis's, and whatnot.
Yeah.
And then I felt the team dynamic in this one was a little bit more organic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't like forced.
Yes.
What I was thinking is if you're comparing 1 and 2,
Yeah.
or Suicide Squad and the Suicide Squad, the leader, obviously you had Will Smith as Bullseye. Was it Bullseye?
Deadshot.
Deadshot, yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas we had Idris Elba as Bloodsport, and he definitely, I felt, you could tell the difference completely. Whereas Idris Elba bought into the movie kind of thing, and where Will Smith, you can kind of see I don't know what goes behind the scenes, but definitely had a lot of influence. And it came across. Whereas here, pretty much the same characters, just with different names, but a lot more cohesive.
Yeah.
Because if you're comparing like for like Harley Quinn was the main character in the first one, but you why? Whereas here she was one of the characters.
Yeah.
Which I enjoyed a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because you got to see more of the other characters and fleshing them out. So that's my take. I think it's a better sequel, but still not necessarily DC's best work. Yeah.
Okay, I want to tell you a few things before I get into my thoughts based on what you've said. The first is, how much more than the previous one did you enjoy this one?
Not on the rewatch now, not as much. It was another for me, another paint by numbers DC.
Wait, when you say not as much, are you saying
not as much as I initially thought I would?
Oh, okay,
yeah.
okay, got you.
I did enjoy it.
Yeah.
You know, I did enjoy it. I enjoyed the difference in tone as well, because there's a lot more blood spatter here and gore.
Yeah.
Which you tend to enjoy if you're a Tarantino fan or
Yes.
you watch a lot of Amazon Prime
Yeah,
with the boys. So I did enjoy it a little bit more gore. But in terms, but other than that, it's just another story that you don't know if the stakes were high enough or like it. No, I shouldn't say this. The stakes were high, but it didn't like feed into the extended universe.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's kind of like you're part of the universe, but you're kind of standing alone. And
Okay, interesting. You actually answered my next question, which would have been around, the whole Disney-fied comments that you made. I was going to check if you enjoyed that part or not, but you basically alluded to having enjoyed it.
Yeah, so I did enjoy it. I didn't mean bright colors and whatnot, and that's nice.
Yeah.
It's just obviously the comedy may be a bit too much. But obviously it wasn't like forced, like for example, a Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah.
I mean, I enjoyed it. It's a gripe I have, but I can let it slide as well. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. No, I got you. For me, I definitely enjoyed it a lot more than you did. Based on your comments. And the thing for me is, we've acknowledged that, look, of course, Snyder, hardcore fanboys and all.
Yeah.
But we've acknowledged that even with his darker movies, the darker tones, both in terms of the filter and the story itself, there's a couple of elements that could have perhaps been done a bit better. And again, we started off by mentioning how DCEU was not one to shy away from constantly, reworking their stuff in order to improve and appease fans, critics, all of that stuff. Part of why I enjoyed it so much, this is definitely the greatest iteration of that in terms of what they've done. You've got the Snyder movies, as much as we've enjoyed them, we could argue it's maybe a bit too dark. Then you got your Justice League release, which was way too big of an overcorrection. You are now damn near being a copycat of Marvel. We've touched on, Shazam in our reviews, and even that one, the comedy, the letter tone did work for that world.
Yeah.
But again, I feel like it's kind of arguable that maybe a little too much, especially as far as DC is concerned. Whereas with this, I think the line was just drawn so perfectly in terms of balancing all the elements. Again, going back to the filters, it wasn't too dark, it wasn't too light.
Yeah.
The comedy as well, as you've mentioned, I feel, yes, it was different in terms of, the DC tone. I wouldn't knock it purely based on being different. For me, it's more about, okay, this is what you want to do. How well are you going to execute it? So I think on that front, the balance came through quite nicely. You mentioned the connection to the rest of the universe. Again, I kind of enjoyed it as far as being a bit of a standalone. And the reason is, we said even with Marvel that not everything has to be, a world level threat, a world ending possibility type of thing. Sometimes have your little mission here and so on, especially if you're not talking about the main defenders, basically, So if it's not Avengers that are there, I'm happy with it being, a relatively lower level of stakes. And look, James Gunn, man, James Gunn, I'm going to try, and you must also hold me to this, to not go too deep into the James Gunn rabbit hole because, at this stage, we are, what is it now, about 2 months away or so from his Superman movie releasing. And there's just so much skepticism out there about, James Gunn. I'm like, guys, James Gunn gave us Guardians of the Galaxy when none of us knew anything about it, and we loved it so much. James Gunn basically came and, redid the Suicide Squad
and made it
so much better. I mean, we basically acknowledged that part of it. And I'm like, after all that he's done, this is still the guy we're going to keep doubting. But I suppose, in defense of the doubters, it's probably less a matter of doubting James Gunn and more being sensitive about Superman. So just trying to see where and how he's going to strike the balance there. I think for me, to close off that subtopic, this movie kind of gave me faith in what he could possibly do with Superman. I wasn't too skeptical, I was quite the believer going in. I watched the teaser trailer and I'm like, okay, I'm not sure, we'll see. And then now with this, I'm like, no man, what this guy has done, especially if you look at Guardians and this. Fun fact, do you know he directed at least one, if not both, of the Scooby-Doo movies, those, from back in the day. So with all that in mind, James Gunn has clearly shown that he is very skilled when it comes to balancing out an ensemble cast.
Yes.
So the one concern I had with Superman after watching the teaser trailer was, is there maybe a bit too many people in there? But watching this let me know that even if there are a number of people, he knows how to balance things. You mentioned a great point along Harley Quinn and the Will Smith character in this one not being the main characters. Like there was a nice little balance throughout, even though someone is a leader, everyone gets their moment to shine and that sort of thing. So just to end off my overarching view of the story, I definitely enjoyed that one quite a bit. Since we touched a bit on Harley Quinn, what would you say you enjoyed about her portrayal in here versus the previous one?
Okay, I think last time I mentioned like they had over-sexualized her.
Yes.
So I liked the fact that it wasn't as over, like she was a character, not the only female in the team kind of thing.
And she was still feminine, but not
overly done. Over like a caricature of herself.
Yes.
So I like that, and just a little bit of character development as well. It's small, but when she was with the dictator, he's like, I can't date you because you're a psycho.
Exactly. So she's like, after the last time I promised myself
I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
So I did like that little bit of character development as well. But obviously her being her, it was pretty much similar in the sense that, a little bit kooky and, the comic relief at times, but it was well worked into the movie.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed that. And as I mentioned, the fact that she was one of the team and not the team.
Yeah, not made a main character for no real reason. Yeah, now I'm with you. And granted, she didn't necessarily she didn't necessarily need redemption.
Yeah.
Given how she. What's the word now? Not necessarily portrayed, but I'll use it while I try to maybe think of a better one. But given how she delivered, let me say that, in the first movie, she didn't necessarily need redemption. It was more along the lines of how she was handled from a writing perspective, maybe even, directing. And we've said that one was at least corrected. So I didn't mind that there wasn't too big of a shift because she did such a stellar job before. So that was great. And then I guess again to delve a little further into the whole, Will Smith versus Deadshot versus Bloodsport in terms of being, the leader of the group. I definitely, want to echo your sentiments. It was more natural and fitting this time around because if you think about it, I mean, we mentioned how Will Smith's star power took over the previous one.
Yeah, and it's literally the same character because it's
the guy who
expert marksman with a daughter. Yes. Like it's the same character, just a different name.
And I think for me, the biggest difference came in how organic it was because, and it's funny, we didn't question it beyond the star power of Will Smith in the previous one. But even if you look at the actual character, if this guy does his own thing, he works solo, he has no partners, why all of a sudden is he made the de facto leader, Whereas here, this guy served in the army.
Served in the army with Colonel Flag.
Yeah. So there's like some actual experience,
Waller's like, you've got all the things to be a leader. I'll make you one.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Qualities
they've alluded to it. Yeah.
There was some, actual experience behind it. So it wasn't just shoving a big name.
And even that little interaction with his daughter at the beginning kind of gave you insight as to he's trying to be better, but not in the right way.
Yeah. It's his own way, basically. Like trying to push it away. But then, of course, as he's carrying out the mission, he realizes, man, this is a little something I can actually do for her. So there is a natural, and again, go back to the word organic progression and character arc from start to finish where he's concerned. Then maybe to divert a little bit, the fun little cameos that we had in here.
So we had
Pete Davidson, of course.
Yeah.
Shout out Pete, man. Like,
Pete.
I don't know, we've never really spoken about him, but like, I love Pete Davidson, dude. Like, this.
he's unequivocally himself. At
And
times,
he's
and
like
it's just,
the most lovable goofball there is out there, There's of course other people where they started to get a bit of hate for being that sort of character / personality, Your Ryan Reynolds, I see people saying that a bit about him. The Rock is in there, Kevin Hart is in there. And now and then people try to slide Pete's name in, and I'm like, nah. In as much I actually do like the other guys you mentioned as well, but with Pete, I'm like, nah, man, you guys are overlooking how well it works for the characters he's portraying in whatever he's in. But even that aside, as a person, as a comedian, so me, Pete Davidson, nah, man.
Same WhatsApp group.
Listen, I proper rock with that dude, So yeah, I definitely loved, seeing
Yeah,
him
no,
in this.
I had forgotten about him, and I was like, oh,
man.
okay, cool. And then just the whole swerve at the beginning, I was just like, oh.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess you were lucky haven't forgotten that he's in this. I remembered that not only is he in it, but basically within the first 5 minutes or whatever, he and that initial team, for the most part, pretty much.
Which was sidetracking. There was a bold move just to
Yes.
introduce a team and just kill them off.
Yes, it was dope, especially because now, I mean, aside from Captain Boomerang, who was
a completely new team
in the previous iteration, you would think, okay, it's the new team, this is it. And then from the get-go, everyone just dies.
Like Weasel, just and that's where I got the Disney-fied feel. It's just these random did anyone check if you can swim? And I was like, and yes, the timing was there, just okay.
Hey, Weasel, man. I was actually, so Weasel was someone I had forgotten about. So I was intrigued to see, okay, what can he do? What's he capable of? Because even the other guys, before they died, you at least saw a bit of display of their powers, But
just died.
Nah, shout out Pete Davidson. And then we had Nathan Fillion as well in there.
I was like TDK.
Yeah. What is it? The detachable kid.
Yeah.
Detachment, Yeah, for me, it was less the character, more Nathan Fillion himself.
Yeah, because he's kind of a cameo king.
Yeah, and he's also got that charm where you just see him and you smile. He's got that warmth that he brings wherever he's at. And there's clearly a thing, man, with him and James Gunn. I mean, it's no surprise.
Well, James Gunn has his people.
Exactly.
So most of the cameos are his people.
That's what I'm saying. Just about every second director out there. And it's funny because people always give him shit about his brother.
Yeah, Sean Gunn. If you didn't see him, he's in the prison.
He had that bald head in there.
I think he's a neo-Nazi.
People are always like, this guy always puts his brother in. But it's like, yo, man, Ryan Coogler is always going to have Michael B. Jordan. Martin Scorsese is always going to have Robert De Niro or Leonardo DiCaprio and Christopher Nolan.
We'll have one of
Cillian Murphy. all the Brits, basically.
Tim Burton will always have Johnny
Depp. It's nothing new. Directors have their favorite people. And then they keep bringing him back again and again. And for me as well, I only care about the end product, man. Is it worthwhile? Does this person show up when they come through? If so, then do your thing. So I don't know what the exact story is with Nathan Fillion and James Gunn, but I've noticed that, there's some deep friendship behind the scenes there.
Because Michael Rooker as well.
Who?
Michael Rooker, the guy with the white long hair.
Yandu.
Yandu. So Yandu, and he's now.
He also had a young cameo.
Yeah, so he's one of James Gunn's
So
guys.
even with him, I was surprised to see him. I was like, Yandu's in this again. Nathan Fillion, I said I forgot him. I think Pete might be the only guy I remembered actually. That he's in. Of course, aside from the main group, the cameos were fun.
Yeah, I think that was it. So
I enjoyed them. Stallone also is
as the
someone,
shark in the now.
He voiced the shark and then he appeared in Guardians as well. But with him, it's a new thing. Definitely, I don't think there's like some going way back type of thing. But I suppose perfect segue then back into the main team. So we also have Ratcatcher too.
Yes. Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that character?
No. It's like such a. If we're likening it, and we're being comic book people, it's likening it to Squirrel Girl. So if you didn't know, in the comics, it's not seen in the comics, but like off panel somewhere, Squirrel Girl actually defeats Thanos. And
Okay.
Squirrel Girl's powers is controlling squirrels.
Oh Lord. Okay.
So when you see Ratcatcher,
Yeah.
two,
Yes.
two,
Yes.
not one. One is a pleasant surprise. I didn't realize you would. Speaking of
Yes.
cameos,
Yes. Actually, Taika Waititi.
before Taika Waititi, and
Yeah,
I thought that was like a little middle finger to Marvel. Be like, here's your guy who saved you, and he's in my movie. Oh yeah, Ratcatcher 2. I don't know the actress's name. That's my fault.
Yeah. Same here as well.
Yeah, but she played her. She's really good portrayal.
Yes,
Like she, she brought the warmth, the innocence of,
Yeah.
I think maybe that's what the original Suicide Squad was lacking. That innocent character. That heart. There we go.
Yes.
Yeah, she was definitely like the heart of the team. Like just bringing the best out of everyone. She did that really, really well.
Yeah.
Her backstory was also really nice. She's like, it's my dad's thing, but he had his demons, and I have to take that mantle on, and I really enjoyed that. Also, fair enough, she's controlling rats, but that was her power showcase, and she showcased that power well.
Yes.
Towards the end of the movie. She held the staffs. What's Starro? Starro the Destroyer down, and with millions and millions of rats. It was an odd choice in terms of powers, but considering we got Polka Dot Man,
and his mommy issues, but we'll get to him. We'll get to him.
Really well-rounded character. I would say the heart of the team, or the essence of the team,
and the movie.
Yeah, basically. The movie.
Yeah,
because she brought out the best in each person. Nanawe, Man Shark, I think it's what it's called.
I know King Shark.
Yeah, King Shark or whatever. Made him like part of the team because he was going to eat her, and she was like, "No, it's fine. You were going to eat me. It's okay. I'd rather choose love than something else." And that was like kind of the essence of it. And also just bringing out Bloodsport because he saw his daughter.
Yes. She just knocked his walls down.
Yeah. So I really think really well cast person.
Yeah, and
definitely.
I mean,
probably one of my favorites in the movie.
Definitely, a major standout. And while we're on her character, just to go back again to the brilliance of James Gunn and the irony of doubting this dude, he got us to care quite a lot about a character whose power is controlling rats. Like, dude, that doesn't just happen. You need to know what the hell you're doing with that pen. So again, James Gunn, as much as he's loved, I find he's oddly underrated.
Yeah, I don't think. Yes, agreed.
And remember, he's not just writing and directing Superman, he's in charge of DCEU.
Yeah, so the direction is his.
If nothing else, this is going to show people just how brilliant this guy is.
Or not, we don't know.
As far as my faith is concerned, I'm definitely rooting for him. But the work has to speak for itself, no doubt. So man, I also enjoyed her character quite a lot. I definitely, forgotten about her. This dropped, I forgot the year, is it 2021?
Yeah,
it was early COVID days vibes, as well. Yeah. And when watching it, in as much as I'm diverting a bit from the characters, I was like, man, it's such a shame it's not, or at the time of release, it wasn't shown in cinemas. Because I also found it to be so visually appealing, like there's this, I don't know, man, grainy texture, so to speak, that was used, which helped to ground everything and everyone. I mean, but fine, let me finish off the characters and then I'll get back to this when we give some of our final thoughts. So I enjoyed the character. You've pretty much nailed it, top to bottom. Again, touching on the aspect of having everyone shine accordingly. Obviously, look, when we talk balance, we don't mean everyone gets the same amount of time, but it's like everyone gets their moment.
Maximize your minutes.
Yes, everyone gets their moment and you do what you need to do. And with being, the heart of the movie, the glue as well. Yeah. Oddly enough, of all people, I think that role was played very, very well. It was also very easy for her power to be made a gimmick.
Yeah.
And they struck such a nice balance between making fun of it
and also then when she shows up, useful,
she actually does something useful.
It's like using rats for reconnaissance.
Yeah, dog. And, whenever something is going down, she'll call in a few and they'll do something quite significant in the moment. I also like the, as realistic as you can be in such a movie, the realism of that. Because of course, if someone says they control rats and all, you don't just roll with it. You lean into your fears of rats. You question what the hell is going on, why. But when you see them in action, it's like, damn, okay, you know what? Yeah, you got your thing. I see you. Polka Dot Man, this dude, and I forgot his name, unfortunately.
Did he play Baron Zemo? Wasn't he in the Civil War? Wasn't he the villain? No.
No. Zemo is Daniel Brew.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a different guy.
Them mixed up. He was in Ant-Man. Yes.
Ant-Man, because I was going to say he's appeared in quite a lot of comic book movies. There was a time where he had a bit of a run with that. These days, I think he's kind of ventured off into other genres because he's also in The Dark Knight.
Oh, okay.
He's the guy that... remember they were doing the salute and then they turned away and they shot, and then when they were in the ambulance, they saw his uniform and he had Rachel Dawson's surname on there, and it was a clue that there's something wrong with Rachel and whatever. But yeah, he was in there, and then, Ant-Man, and now even this. So he's been all over the place with all these obscure comic book characters. But
particularly this one.
He's also he's got a very obscure face. I don't know his actual demeanor and voice tone and all that stuff, but what I'm saying is those characters fit him so well. And it was certainly no different in this one. And as disgusting as his face would look whenever it'll, get those bumps.
Polka dots,
But yeah, man, he was a fun
character,
very quirky and
very powerful.
Yes,
like low-key powerful,
insanely powerful. Those explosions and all. Maybe could have done a bit more. With
and then they just killed him, like.
Yeah, so weird and abruptly. But
maybe that's the point of his character.
And also, even with the story, I like going back to even all those deaths we saw in the beginning. I mean, how many times have I spoken about going there and whatnot?
Just heads just blowing up.
Yeah, I of course love the blood and gore, but I also like how the stakes were so high. We're just about anyone. I felt like, this group is definitely going to be fine, make it to the end. Now, they said it right at the beginning that at any point, anyone could go. So when you see them in the midst of a heavy battle, you feel as though, it could be their turn next. So I like that part. Yeah, man, the whole mommy issues thing. Like,
I mean, when it came through, whenever they had it like in the club, it was just like,
and she's just everywhere, and I won't expound too much on this, but when they're in the club, people are dancing. There was certain people that were grabbing my eyes more than others, and then next thing they turn into his mom, and I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? So trust me, if anyone was thrown off by that,
And it was not they didn't build it, just happened.
Yeah, just instantly.
Yeah.
But I like how it was basically a visualization of what he's been saying.
His trauma. Yeah.
I see my mom everywhere, and then to put us into his that POV, mind, basically. Yeah. I was like, what? From that perspective, I suppose I can't be mad at it too much, King Shark.
Yeah. Stallone's voice acting, I think, his voice suits the way King Shark speaks, and I think that is really cool.
And I like how there was, I don't know, man, it's almost like a jab of sorts and kind of poking fun at himself as well, because how many times have you heard the whole thing about Stallone not being the most articulate person? People are like, whenever they imitate him, it's always, they'll hardly form and enunciate proper words and so on. So I saw that connection in this. I don't know if it was coincidental or what, but yeah, I like that little subtle connection between the two. But yeah, it's like, what is there to say? Again, given the level of strength that King Shark had, there's an argument to me that he could have perhaps, used them a little more here and there.
He's apparently he is the strongest, as confirmed by Waller.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the whole bulletproof thing and whatever, like, you don't even need, anyone else to tell you more about them. We know, what great white sharks are capable of and that sort of thing. So I would have liked to see that a bit more, because he leaned a little more towards the comic relief side of things as opposed to also being powerful. So on that front, that shift would have been dope. And I love the CGI on him. Like, man, the way it just looked so real. I definitely believe that there was, a talking shark walking around in jean shorts, So he was pretty dope. Rick Flag.
Yeah, I mean,
this is now the second, appearance,
again,
and definitely someone who needed some redemption. So Did they pull it off?
Yeah, I think so, but it was just abrupt when they killed him off.
Yeah.
Very abrupt. Like
Yeah,
I was just
yeah.
like, oh, okay.
So this time around, I forgot it. I remember that, man, one of those three, man, between Bloodsport,
Sport,
yeah, between Bloodsport, Peacemaker, and Rick Flag. One of them is gonna die suddenly.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a fight, whatever. So I vaguely remembered it, but when I watched it the first time, it was definitely a surprise because, of course, everyone else dies. Like,
Yeah, and he's
you're
like
surprised,
and like as you say, he's a core team member. Like you know what I mean?
yeah. So that one definitely took me by
But then
surprise.
I guess a little bit of foreshadowing. Wallace sent him in the actual Suicide Squad.
Exactly.
So he was never maybe
He
going to
was,
live.
you know, the dispensable, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone kind of is around her, but that was pretty on the nose, if you will. And then it kind of, you know, paid itself off
Yeah.
in the end. But again, I like the redemption side of it, which is interesting if you think of how much of a backseat he took in this movie.
Yes.
But he still remained.
Had his moments.
Yeah, he still remained influential, but he wasn't driving the story as much as he did the previous time around. But I think there was a nice little balance that they struck where that's concerned, because even in his absence, you didn't necessarily miss him. Not as a slight to him, but just in terms of how well the writing was executed, you know, in terms of whoever or whatever was filling the slot when he wasn't on screen. But the moments when we do see him, there's an impact. And if you're gonna kill a character like that in particular, let's make it worthwhile. And I think, yeah, man, dying for something that you not only personally believe, but which is an actual normal thing. I think that added to it. And that shot of the heart, that I definitely forgot about. But I was like, yeah, man, James Gunn, like, you know. And I hope, again, touching a little on, you know, this future DCEU that he's going to be running. Of course, these guys are a part of it. If you think of how Peacemaker's show is still continuing, Amanda Waller is still, you know, Viola Davis and so on. I hope that the bloody and gory side of things is also going to be, you know, a part of this. When I saw the teaser trailer of Superman, I saw all the blood on him. I was like, oh, okay, there's some blood, but what about the gore? And I'm not saying it has to be in Superman. Place it where it needs to be, but I would like to see it, you know, throughout the different iterations of that universe. But yeah, man, Rick Flag, I was certainly taken aback. And even now, like I said, I knew someone was on it, but I didn't know for a fact it was him. So there was still a bit of, oh, damn.
And there was a bit of a tease there in the end credit scene where they're like, I'm surprised he survived. So end credit.
Oh, okay.
And end credit. Yeah. I'm surprised he survived, and the camera pans, and it's Peacemaker.
Okay.
Like kind of Flag. I thought it was gonna be Flag.
I was gonna ask if they showed who they were talking about, because I remember when they were talking about Peacemaker is coming out. I'm like, wait, but he died in Suicide Squad, and then so. Before the show dropped, of course, when the show drops, then I realized, okay, he survived and all of that. But when they announced the show is coming, I wasn't sure if it's going to be the Peacemaker's backstory or if it's going to be a continuation following Suicide Squad.
It's a continuation.
So, okay, now when you said that, I was like, wait, did they actually show Red Flag alive? Is he coming back somewhere?
Yes, no,
but okay, I suppose that means that's it then. Yeah, but he had a great journey, and I'm glad above all those that we didn't get to see come back, that he not only came back, but he had
some finality to his character.
And while we're on this, it's just occurring to me now, as far as storytelling, if you will, is concerned, it actually makes more sense, not only for him to die at the end, but just Waller placing him on the suicide team. Because remember, there was a whole thing where he defied her, he was dating a doctor, so it was probably, you know, her way of just getting back at him. Because I mean, one thing about Amanda Waller, if you don't know,
she's ruthless.
Listen, man, stone-hearted, icebox, you name all of those in one is what she has, you know, pumping sludge through her veins, basically. Let's see, in Peacemaker,
John Cena, bro.
Yeah. And remember, this is also
my hero, my childhood hero.
Where John Cena is having, arguably, I don't want to say peak, but where he's hit that next level in his acting career.
I think these were. It's when he became the second busiest man in Hollywood.
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah, because he's been around for a while.
Yeah.
He's been around for a
But
while. Like,
after he left WWE full time,
Yeah.
and yeah, it was like an occasional part time, I think, since like 2018, 19.
okay.
And he took acting full. Then he started on the uptick. And
Yeah,
this was
yeah.
one of the first like
Yeah, yeah.
standout performances. Because
Exactly.
Definitely one of the highlights in the movie.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, just his character being like blood sport, but a white guy.
Yeah. Yeah, trained to kill with anything.
Yeah.
His dad taught him as soon as he was born.
Yeah, but better.
Yeah. Nah, man, he definitely
Yeah.
did like a stellar job. And one of my favorite aspects, if not the favorite from him, look, great acting, great
Yeah.
comedic timing, all of that stuff, you know. But I like how he wasn't the only one. I think pretty much everyone else stuck to their guns. But given the side that he was on, sticking to his guns somehow, I don't know, man, just made his character that much more impactful.
Yeah, like there was no subterfuge. It was like, this is who I am.
Yeah, yeah.
You know exactly what
And
you're
no
gonna get.
kumbaya somewhere down the line. Like, yeah, you have it here, you have it there. But he was like, and he's being saying, hey, man, I believe in peace more than anything, but I will do whatever it takes to get to it,
peace,
you know?
Yeah. And he did that.
Yeah, everyone else at some point abandons the mission, this, that, whatever. But he was like, no, this is what it is, which is what I then love about him killing Rick Flag. So
yeah, he did what he thought was right,
Yeah.
no matter the consequences.
stuck to his guns. Yeah, there wasn't last minute switch just because it's now my teammate and that sort of thing. Yeah, so I enjoyed that bit quite a lot.
And I mean, as you mentioned, the comedic timing, he was kind of like the straight man.
Yeah. And his tiny whiteys and everything.
And you obviously have a huge wrestling fan, and when you watch wrestlers, you don't realize how big people are until they stand next to real people.
Yeah.
And jeepers.
Yeah,
Like he made Idris Elba's a big guy.
Yeah.
And he looks like a child.
Yeah, no, homie's huge, man.
like just his awkward robotic nature just fits him so well.
It fits the character. Yeah, because at the end of the day, he's a person who just follows orders, and so you know that physique, that stature, everything plays very well into the character. And then I mean, of course, you got Amanda Waller coming through.
I mean,
doing
more
what
of
she
the
does.
same. More of the same.
But again, she didn't need redemption.
Yeah.
So more of the same isn't a bad thing.
More of the same, and it wasn't a bad thing at all. And
Yeah.
in the beginning, they showed she's willing to press that button, blow heads up.
Another showing of sticking to your guns
Yeah.
and it being great throughout the movie, even if you on the other side, shall we say, because she did it right at the start.
And then she was going to do
And
it
then
when
at
they
the
went
end,
to do the right
exactly.
thing, yeah.
Because I remember that, okay, I know these guys don't die, but if she's pulling out the box, how do they survive? And sure, if someone else intervening is what it takes, then I'm like, okay, as long as it's not her then just hesitating, retracting the finger and something, I'm like, no. She was happy to go for it. And I'm
She
like,
just got whacked in the head.
yeah, proper, So I think with that, that's pretty much all
The main characters.
Yeah, the main characters rather. Then it's just about the overall story itself. I mean, I've mentioned already. I don't mind the little side quest sort of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want the Suicide Squad doing the main event thing, especially when you consider the point of this movie.
Yeah.
Which was, okay, let's just correct what we had before. We want to bring in James Gunn into our world. Let's have this be his introduction sort of thing. There was a couple of things that were a bit, higher priority than just to say, oh, the world's ending and we need the Suicide Squad. Because at the end of the day, Superman is back, Batman is still around, you still have all those main guys. So the nice little self-contained thing, I definitely, I enjoyed it quite a lot.
I enjoyed the story. It was more coherent.
Yeah.
Again, it was a random villain, like a blue and blue and pink starfish.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I was thinking, as I was watching that, it's like only James Gunn could really do something and make
it work.
Make a starfish the big bad and make it work. Yeah. I liked, I guess, the grounded nature. We always talk about groundedness. Because it was small scale until it wasn't. What I mean? It was just the insurgent getting in there, destabilizing a government, typical American fashion.
Of course,
with superpowers or metahumans now.
Yeah.
And then they came together at the end. It's quite nice. Yeah, it bookended well. If I don't see the Suicide Squad again, I'm happy with that.
Yeah. For me, because we always talk about the villain, and, you know, the stories that creates the villain and all of that. And I think, if nothing else, this movie also, again, man, every chance I get, I'm gonna credit the writing of James Gunn. He showed that your overall story is always going to be the more important thing. As you said, I mean, random ass starfish from space and whatever. But because in their writing, they never made that the villain.
Yeah.
You never felt as though you were shortchanged.
Yeah, and if you think about it, this movie didn't really have.
It was just, you guys have a mission.
It was the team coming together.
Yes, you guys have a mission, you need to just execute it, you know. So it was a little bit on the ideology side of things, you know, there was like, not really infighting, but it's like, you know, coming together as one, we just need to move forward, we've got this thing, let's stay alive type of joint. So I don't have an issue with this villain, as weird and random as it is.
Yeah, no, it's
whereas I've criticized so many others, but it is because of how they have written them into the story. So man. I don't know any other elements you wanna, like, you know, bring light to mention.
I wanna give credit to the scene with Harley Quinn when she was breaking out of the presidential palace, and just how that flower aesthetic was just. Yeah, I just found that visually stunning. In replacement of blood, which is
so
interesting.
For me, what I liked about it was more. Remember, there was still blood, so the balance of it is what I love. You still have blood, and you also
I just thought it was visually stunning.
Yes, without a doubt, which is why, again, I wouldn't necessarily consider it as a Marvel-esque movie per se, because they've gone in so many aspects to where Marvel never would, and if this was to happen I mean, not even if, we've seen it so many times, you know, Thor, Love and Thunder, where they had the gold sprinkles instead of blood. And so what they do, they lean into the other side completely, where it's like, okay, no blood, we're going to show all the other things. But here, it balanced itself nicely. And what I love is that even if you think of the comics, when they smash into someone, it'll say kapow, bam, all of those stuff. So for me, it felt like a balance between that. And I love that they still had the real world element of the blood showing.
Yes.
So
I think that scene was also just a showcase of her skills as well.
Man, on all fronts. I mean, starting with, you know, the dexterity. I don't know if that's the word to use when it comes to feet.
Flexibility.
When she
strangles
the guy, and then when she grabbed the key with her toe, and then used that to unlock us, I was like, yo, that's crazy work, you know. And even the physical strength. Because she strangled him, which takes a lot.
And then she lifted him up.
And she lifted him. And I'm like, and there was no tiny dude, you know. So just that display of strength, agility, and man, that for me was insane. And of course, then, you know, running down the halls and shooting everyone. And then there was that scene where it's not a corridor, but it's kind of like where the corridors met, essentially. And she's like spinning around and shooting people. And so it's like skill shown on a multi-level. You know, there was the actual fighting that she did initially, and then it's the
actual power,
it's the guns, and then, you know, there's the javelin, and so just the way they even elevated it as it's going through, I was like, no. They gave us such an amazing moment.
And just to cap it off, her hailing a taxi to
and then just holding the javelin there, like, you know, and the guys are trying to rescue her. She's like, what are you guys doing? Like, he's like, fine, I'll go back and you guys can still rescue me. You know? So Harley, man, I think because of how much we praised her before, because, you know, what she's capable of, we almost maybe slid a little too quickly past that this time around. But shout out for highlighting that. She was absolutely brilliant in this, man. Other than that, as far as elements you didn't necessarily like or enjoy that
one more
much,
that I did like, I like Bloodsport's suit.
Yes.
Yeah, just that looked cool.
I wanted to say
the suit and just that helmet, like
the helmet. I didn't mind. I don't know, the bottom of it for me was the overall could have been done a little better, but the suit I loved. In fact, I wish he could have had it a lot more in the movie. There was even a scene where, I think, was it when they hopped out of the van or whatever, and they were like super dressed down, and I was like, no, the suit, man, like, it looks incredible. I'll give you the best. I'll give you the best out of everyone's costume design and his weapon design as
his
well.
weapons,
The whole thing of just adding them on and then
yeah.
they just morph and transform and whatever. And how real it still looked with everything that it was doing. Like, I definitely, I like that a lot.
I think in the last one, the scene I enjoyed, which was so ridiculous, is when they were rescuing Colonel Flag and they killed all the rebels.
Yeah. Oh, that
was a really dope scene. It was the first introduction into them as a team and the capabilities, which is great. But but then at the end you realize, oh, you killed all your allies.
And he's just there having tea and whatever, and he's like, yeah, okay, why wasn't I alerted by my team? I was like, no, we didn't see anyone. No, we don't do. And they're all just dead, not even like unconscious or whatever, like fully dead. I was like, damn. But yes, so I think with that, the action across the board, I can't think of a single fight scene or any sort of action scene that they had where I was like, everything was crazy brilliant, and with using everyone's different powers, if we're talking about gunfights, if we're talking about hand to hand, if it's explosions, if it's whatever, I mean, even when the building was collapsing and they showed, just everyone scattering and whatnot. The starfish, when it released the small little ones on some Cell Junior style and it was taking over. I like what the general did. No, the president. He's like, nah, screw this dog. Just hats off. And he's like, yeah, I'm taking my
Accept my fate.
Yeah, man. I was like, there's nothing that I love more than someone acting in a realistic manner in a crazy situation, because even
I
now,
would be like that too. I'd be like,
dog. I mean, the other day I remember talking to one of my friends. I was like, man, if there was a real zombie apocalypse, to what extent would you fight to be alive? And I'm like, these things are powerful. They're fast. And every day you want to strive to survive. I'm living so nice and soft now.
My one is always, if I lose my glasses, I'm dead. So as long as I have my glasses, I will try and survive.
So for me, I was like, yeah, dog, just have someone say, you know what, do your thing. I was like, yeah. Not mad at it. I can definitely, see that actually happening in real life. So,
yeah, I think those are the main highlights for me.
Yeah. As far as things you didn't enjoy, for me, again, it's one of those situations where I wouldn't say there aren't any.
Yeah,
but none that really stood out or was, that big of an issue. But I don't know, on your side.
Yeah, same. I would say yes. Sometimes the comedy for me felt a little bit forced, but it's not overdone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can let it slide. Other than that, same as well. I think I'm more of a similar mindset to you there. It's there are things that definitely were an issue, but it's not coming to mind.
Yeah. I wasn't there like, oh no, and whatever.
Yeah.
There was one scene, talk about the comedy and I just can't remember which one, but I remember where I felt like, okay guys, you're stretching the joke a little too far now. But I don't remember feeling that more than once, So overall, which is part of why I've always loved and enjoyed this movie. As far as seeing them again, because you mentioned that you'll be cool with this being it.
Yeah, I mean, if we do see them again, I'm not gonna say no.
For me, it's more. I don't know, man. I'm kind of just at a point where I'm more fearful than anything, because I'm like, so many times, particularly with DC, the intro will be great, and then the follow up is like, that's the only thing I'm worried about. But it's more like if they can find a way to do a great job, then yeah, man, figure something out. I definitely wouldn't mind, especially if they bring back James Gunn to actually write it as well, instead of pawning it off to someone else. Then I think with that, we can get to our rating of the movie. Out of 10, what would you give it?
I would say 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been going back and forth between like a 7 and an 8, because I always try to think about what is informing my rating. Sometimes it's so tempting to go too high purely because of how bad everything else has been. Whereas, like, we try to make the ratings nice and self-contained. But I think, that it's like a very, very strong 7.5. I'm happy to, leave it at that. Then in terms of our top 5, we need to see then where this is gonna slot in. We of course have Man of Steel, right? We've got Zack Snyder's Justice League, Batman v Superman, and then Wonder Woman 1.
Yeah,
was the next one. Yeah, I think with how everything else went, you were like, we're fine with just leaving that top 4. So I think
I'm still fine with leaving the top 4 and then
this slot in as number 5.
Yeah.
So definitely not better than Wonder Woman. Is that set in stone or what? Because I'm just trying to
Yeah.
think back and see, you know.
Yeah.
But again, man, like when I think of the history of this, it makes it all the more impressive. But it's like Wonder Woman out the gate just came
Yeah.
in and was, you know,
No, I
it
think
wasn't like a fix or patch up job.
Wonder
and
Woman over Suicide. The Suicide Squad.
Aquaman was probably
It was I think it was number
would have
5.
been number
Yeah.
5.
And then
Yeah,
drops
it
out.
wouldn't have
Yeah.
been above
This is
Wonder
definitely better
Woman.
than
So
Aquaman.
yeah, no, that I can agree on. All right, with that, we pretty much said all there is to say about this. You know, as per usual, hit that like, hit that subscribe. Let us know if you agree or disagree. Follow us on Instagram. You know, the Phantom Geek Zone. But yeah, that's it for this one. Shout out for sticking around. Then we'll catch you at the next episode. Peace.